Hi everyone, thanks so much for joining us today. Our guest for this week had to reschedule, and so you're stuck with just us, and we're hoping to make it very much worth your while to listen. I'll be doing a Biofield tuning, and Raimi will be doing a meditation, and Jessica will be adding her positive intentions to both of ours to help relieve any anxiety or introduce more calmness into our beings as all the election tension around the United States and around the world comes closer. There's just so many different standpoints, that's not quite the right word, viewpoints on not just the election. I'm not talking about the people involved, but in how we handle elections, or how we view elections, and how we function during this time and things. And I guess I used to be in the camp or the mindset, and I think it's a good one in general, of because when you find out that so many things in life are we really do have no control over, and that things are kind of determined by the global leadership or national leadership or hierarchy of some point, that we don't actually have a lot of say-so in things. And so it's I was, it was easier to maintain my calm inside of me in not doing anything about it, just withdrawing from it and letting that play out however the world would play it out, or the universe would play it out. And I was just there to do my own thing and keep my own calmness and contribute to the universe through remaining calm and helping others remain calm. This year, I have to say, I've come to a different viewpoint in some ways, just because I've learned so much in the last couple years about manifesting and bringing things into reality. And for me now, at this point, and I'm not saying it won't change again in some way, because life is such a journey, and we change along the way as we learn and grow. And so, but this year, involved in this election system, I have come to see that just as I manifest things for my life, in my mindset, in my physical life, and so forth, that then after my own individual life, then I have the community around me that I can manifest, which would both be friends that I'm not living near, but also my little town that I live in, and then beyond that, my nation. So I have myself, my community, my nation. So it's a part of my world. It's a part of what I have come to feel this year as, I don't know if I call it a responsibility. I think that's maybe a little too much of a word, but that I do have input in how it plays out, because I can bring things into reality in my own life through my own intentions, and by taking steps that are needed to trust the universe and just proceed as if those things are already happening and act on those. And so I can bring things into reality. And so I've come to see that that perhaps in this way I can bring the result of the election into that I see as being closest to the mindset of God. That's how I'm making my decision this year. And to me, that's the the bottom line of a life here on earth. Are we going to live with the mindset of God in abundance, freedom, free will, and love? Or are we going to live with control and coercion and fear in responding to things? So reacting with ego or reacting with spirit. However, there's multiple ways of looking at how we're saying what we're meaning. And so to me, I have studied both sides. I mean, I've listened to what they say and what they have done, and how things have played out in their lives and around surrounding them and things. And I have put effort and intention toward bringing into reality the one that I would prefer to live under. And so, because I think we do have input. Our minds are so powerful, and so I think if we make what do you call it? Spiritual intentions, or that's not quite the right word either. I didn't plan out what I was going to say because I wasn't sure I wanted to say all this, but it's like with integrity for getting as much information as I can, and making a conscious choice in what I feel whose way of life would be closest to the mindset of God, or would allow me to live closest to the mindset of God, and help in my journey. And so that's how I've chosen this year of being input. So I've taken tiny little steps. I haven't become part of a campaign presence or anything. I haven't given a lot of money or anything, but I guess I like to voice this to people in case, because I think it's good food for thought, whether you agree to it or not, and whatever your own choice would be. I mean, that's totally up to each of us, right? But I think it's good food for thought to think about and discuss how much part we are, because our minds are so powerful, what we can do if in situations like this. So that's my thought. Rami or Jessica, welcome today, now that I've taken up so much time. And if you guys want to give your opinions or thoughts on this time that we're in, please do so. Rami, there you go.
Yeah, well, to me, it sounds like you just want to live in integrity. And you want to, and you want to follow your North Star, and just happens to be an election year.
Yeah, basically that's true.
And
perfect thoughts, Rachel. Perfect.
We have the right to vote. All I can say about the election is I wish there was more knowledge or publicity about all the other candidates. Because when I go and they say Susie Q, I have no idea, who she is. And I've been trying to look them up, but that takes time, and I don't. But who's running for state senator in Missouri? Lucas and Josh Hawley. I have no clue what they do except the little commercials I see. So if I could improve that, I would. And I guess I'll just have to research on my own. But I'm not the only one. I'm sure there's a lot of people who really don't know who the other candidates are and what they do and how they perform. Right. And I think that's important because the president is a big deal, and we certainly know about them. But it's the local that we really would like to focus on, because when they hear us, and they can take our concerns and our opinions, and then they could maybe make a change at the local level. And of course, locally goes globally and United States. And so that's what I say about the election. I don't know enough except who I'm going to vote for the president. But going back to what you were saying, Carla, it is you're just staking your claim in a good life and believing in God and your intuition, of course, and you'll follow through, and you could do the best you can by voting, and that's what I got out of your little spiel.
Yeah, I think so. And not just voting, but talking to people, not to try to necessarily convince them about anything, but in sharing why I'm choosing what candidate I'm choosing and what I appreciate about that. But what's really, really interesting to me, because I was asked to express that as part of a Facebook group that I'm part of, and and I did so. Thinking, or I don't know, I didn't know for sure, but I figured that I was probably real close to the only one with my viewpoint in that group, and so I expressed that viewpoint, and that's about what I've found. That the people that have responded have been for the other candidate, and but what is so really interesting is that I would have thought they were talking. Well, I'll just say it because I don't think it matters. We're so small, it doesn't matter at all what we're saying. I'm choosing to vote for Trump, right? And because of the reasons I stated, I feel that's would allow me the way of life that's would be able to live easier, closest to the mindset of God. Now, but the people talking in the group, they were giving their reason, and all the way through it, or halfway through it, until they mentioned him, her, or a name, it's like I could have sworn they were going to be talking about Trump, and they were talking about the other. And the same way when you go through the negatives that they were talking about, which all of them have negatives, right? That I could have sworn they were showing the negatives of what I feel, or they were calling them the negatives of Trump, and I see it as the negatives of her. And so it's that's what's to me is so very interesting. And anyway, I think anyway, part of it goes back to what you said, Rainey, because I think if you do take the time to listen carefully to what, and do your own research of some kind, right? So you listen carefully to what they say and how it is played out in what they have done in their politic career, or if that's the right word, and perhaps things about their life that would be of good information to know their character or whatever, then I think it's very important to do that research, because people that just choose a candidate based on what they see on NBC, ABC, and PBS and the others, you're not going to get an accurate, true viewpoint. And so I think doing our individual research is very important if you're going to get involved in it, or if you're going to vote at all. And perhaps even when you're not going to vote, but just to be able to hold intentions for the highest good, it's helpful to know what is reality on things, as close to reality as we can find. Jessica.
Yeah, I was gonna just when you mentioned that, I thought, I don't know, Carla, do you have to know the specifics on each side to hold highest intentions? I think you can hold highest intentions and not know what's going on anywhere, and just hold highest intentions, and you're just putting your energy out into the universe then, right? And I don't think the universe or vibration has a specific, I don't think it's Democrat or Republican out in the universe or energy field. Yeah. So and God. So yeah, I was just thinking, gosh, I know who all the people are, but, and like you mentioned, I am choosing this year to not vote. It's just where my personal belief is. And that may change, as you talked about it. I may change in a few years. At 47 years old, though, I'm not super old, but I feel like I've seen a lot of things happen, and I don't feel like my life has changed dramatically in one way or the other. It could if if something happens, but I'm just going to focus on my energy in my life and go about my day-to-day stuff and hold the highest intentions. And yeah, I've said sides and, this way of thinking and that way of thinking. And this year, it just feels like division. And so I'm just like, oh, I love everybody. And I'm just going to hold the highest intentions and if you get down to it, like into the political stuff, I do think that they're all kind of the same. So as far as, and I know that can be divisive to some people too, that really hold to one side or the other. So I'll just send everybody love. And I've got so much stuff I'm working on myself that, I think as long as I'm holding my energy, that's the best thing. So if you or anybody else really enjoys and has a strong positive community with one side or the other, I think that's a good thing, right? If you're talking to people and you're positive and you're encouraging and you really believe in what you're talking about, that's that positive energy, right? Whichever side it's on. So yeah, if a person feels like the one side, they have this group that they're a part of and they're having good time and they are really encouraged about what they're doing and they believe they're changing the world, and then they are, because of their own energy. So I think that can be a beautiful thing, whatever side you're on. But yeah, this year with me and everything I've got going on, I'm just like, I'm just going to focus on myself and do what I believe I'm called to do at this point. So there's my little spiel.
I've heard that really very conservative Christians are one of the largest groups of people that don't vote, because a lot of them want the end to come, or the second coming, and they think it would be coming or whatever, and so they want it to come. I don't know.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and other times there is a lot of the very conservative, say like my family has Holderman Mennonite background on my dad's side, and they don't vote at all. None of them do, out of just peace, right? They don't go to, they don't join the armed forces. They refuse if there was, during the time that there was drafting and things like that. And the Amish were the same way. But this year, a lot of Amish are voting for Trump because of.
Didn't know that.
Yes, but see, because you're not studying, right?
I'm studying now with you guys.
You are, Rhea, and I don't mean that bad. I'm just saying it's helpful to know what's going on in the world. And so anyway, and the reason they're voting this year is because during the last 4 years, the policies, several of the Amish have been taken to court and fined great fines, because they're trying to get them not to be able to do the holistic farming and food production and things like that they make their livelihood on and things. There's been a lot of policies against that, and some have been dragged into court and fined. And so the Amish don't want that way of life. They want to secure their traditional way of life. So they're voting, a lot of them are voting for Trump because they see that as more freedom for them to do their life. So anyway, it was just tidbits of information.
You know what? I also think that I think we maybe should reconstruct this whole thing. It seems like 4 years they do whatever they do, like what Trump did, and then Biden came in and undid it. And now whoever wins is going to come in and redo it. And I mean, it seems like really nothing really changes. And that's to your point, Jessica. The immigration, what is going on with immigration? I heard Trump say yesterday, the first thing he's going to do is do a mass deportation as soon as he gets in office. Okay. I just think that we could restructure our political office. I don't know what. I mean, I listened to England, and they're going through the same thing. You know, the Queen and the monarchy, and they're there forever. You know, once they become king or queen till they die, and ours is every 4 years, which is crazy in a way, because, like I said, they do it and then they undo it, and the House has to approve it, and it's just a little bit crazy. A little bit, you really doesn't seem like anything really gets done. So I would look into restructuring the political parties.
Right. I just wanted to say something about trends, though, because if you look at big trends in say the United States, right, from 1776 through approximately the end of World War II, all the presidents, in whatever capacity they were doing, they were building America, right?
Mm-hmm.
To become a more powerful nation, or to become prominent in the world, or to become allow citizens and the nation itself to become wealthier, right? And then from World War II, with Operation Paperclip and everything after that, no matter which Republican or Democrat side you were on, the trend has been since then to decrease America's power, and to eventually so that America is not near as much in itself, because they have the world global power ready to take over, or rulership or hierarchy ready to take over. However, during the Trump years of 16 to 20, that those trends that they were showing dramatically decreased. So it shows that some of the things that he had been trying to do for economic purposes and things like that were making a difference. And if there had been another term after that, we could have seen out a lot more play. Now, I think this time is a lot more powerful, just because it's not just, he's taken, Kennedy has joined him, right? And for health and vaccine freedom. And that's huge. That's huge. and so many people that have joined him that, again, are just wanting a better America, and to start rebuilding America again, instead of dragging it down into lack, is what I would call it, versus the mindset of lack versus the mindset of abundance, and allowing the world power then to take over much quicker. So that's just kind of how I view it.
Do either one of you, in studying the Old Testament, obviously, if you mentioned conservative Christian earlier, and that's kind of how I grew up. If you believe in God, and you believe, that yes, we're all different countries, but we're all under God, technically then, if you believe that way. Wasn't there in the Old Testament, was it after Moses that God helped them kind of set up a government that would be the best government? Do you guys remember what I'm trying to remember what that structure looked like. I'm going to have to now go back to the Old Testament. It's been a while since I've read through there, besides like Genesis and Psalms and Proverbs, on what that kind of looked like. Because obviously there's all kinds of different government structures in the world, right? But
Right.
which one was like the healthiest or best? I feel like, do you guys know what I'm talking about?
It was in the story of the desert where they put into play after Moses led the people out of Egypt, and then they wandered 40 years in the wilderness, and that's what they were instructed. They God had given them or shown them, how to set up their camps for the best health and things, and also as well as setting up their religious structure. Now, how much part of what the Bible says as far as the religious structure is actually what it was or has been changed through the years, I don't know. But I think a lot of the basic health principles are probably true.
Yeah, I feel like there were a lot of like judges set up, at least in that structure, if I remember correctly. So I thought, I'm gonna have to go back and kind of reread that and see what at least, again, yes, in our version of the scriptures was kind of stated as being the best that we can have here on this earthly world. I think that would be interesting too, to kind of look at that and parallel it, see where we're at right now.
Yeah.
It was, what's interesting to me more than is that overall in the Bible, from my studies, what I've seen, that this the kings and how to set up the kings and how to set up the religious thing and stuff, but especially the kings, what was just done because people wanted that. What was meant to be was for people to continue to live outside the cities. This is in the Old Testament. So they lived in tents. They didn't necessarily wander, all over in the desert for 40 years, but they probably, but they were living more in one place or following places where their animals could graze and where they could grow crops at different parts of the year. And so we were meant to be close to the land. We were meant to all be even and have perhaps a leadership that could help settle disputes among people, but not a hierarchy that determines a way of life for us, right? Everyone was on board with the same way of life, and that way, and the way of the kings and rulership and all the other junk that comes in because of that type of leadership of a hierarchy system, of a pyramid system instead of a level playing field, results in problems. My opinion.
Yeah,
out in the Bible. So, Rami, go ahead.
There's I don't know if there's an answer. I just think we should all meditate, put down our guns, listen to each other, and not react because you don't believe what I believe. It's okay. It's okay to have differences, but respect each other for it, And it would be really dull if everyone voted for Trump or if everyone did the same thing. It really would. It seems I hope that we will come together. I don't know how, but I think we will, that's what I think. I think meditation for the world.
But the reason I feel so strong about this year, and the reason many people feel so strongly, is because it's to the point that it drastically will affect our way of life, or that's how we see it, that it would drastically affect our lives. And most of the people who are on Democrat side at this time, the majority, it's been shown in polls or whatever, or just across the board, whether, that's my information anyway. I don't know exactly how accurate it is, but in talking to people, I find it to be fairly accurate that those people consist of a group that don't do the studying, that don't observe exactly what she's saying and exactly what the policies are doing. They're going primarily on the old status of abortion, which is now up for every state to decide. Every state has decided their viewpoint on that. And like Ramey, you said, individual people have more control at that level in influencing our representatives and such. So every state decides for each state, and there's not a national law against it. The Supreme Court had decided that. And that so most of a lot of the people on the Democrat side are still, they haven't looked at what the policies and actual verbiage is on a lot of things to determine how that's going to affect their lives. Whereas a lot of the people on the other side have looked carefully at many things and say, this is the life I choose, right? Because to me, in a simplistic way, and you can argue that if they're all controlled at a higher level above it, it maybe wouldn't matter. That eventually down the road in a few years, it might all work out close to the same. But to me, if the Democrats go into control for another 4 years with the trend increasing that it's been over the last 4 years, then America could easily become totalitarian or could become communistic or socialistic within 2 years. I don't want that life. Whereas the other side, at the very least, you would have another 4 years of more basic freedoms and improving the life so that if it did at some point turn down toward whatever end overall there may be for people looking at, that it's going to take longer and be better for my granddaughter in her lifetime. That's my position. And so I just, please feel free to jump in there if you want. And I just want to say thank you, everybody, for letting me get this off my chest and for sharing something that's I didn't think this year would become important, but it's become important to me. And I just wanted to share my viewpoints, not to convince you to vote one way or the other, but just to share, so it gives everyone something to think about.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, so I'll keep holding my highest intention for everybody, because I got enough work to work on within myself. And if it comes down to it, if we are so lucky, I feel like, in the United States at this point still, that I don't fear for my life every single day right now, and so many countries do. So I just feel lucky that I can work on my inner workings, because some people in different countries, or even in this country, I realize in different neighborhoods or spots, aren't safe and aren't able to work on their own spiritual work, or at least it's harder. So I will keep raising my vibration as I've been doing, and we'll see what happens. Yeah, I do. I tell my kids, keep up with what's going on. Look at both sides. My parents were very much both sides. They, looked at each side. And I think that's probably why I've come to where I'm at on being very even keeled, is that my parents were that way. So I personally appreciate that, because they always taught us to look at both sides and listen. But you're right, Carla. I don't think a lot of people really do. I think that they're just raised by their parents, and, oh, you're trying to take away my rights. Oh, you're trying to deport all, immigrants. And they just look at these big things that the media pushes out, and they think that that's all there is. And there's so much more to it, as you're saying. So it is important to look at those specific things. Absolutely. Yeah. But in the end, I don't see in history where everybody has always agreed 100%. So I don't know if it's meant to ever be that everyone's going to vote for,
Right.
Democrat, or everyone's going to vote for Republican. I think there's always going to be. And if I'm part of a community where everybody agrees, we're probably like the city of Enoch going to get taken up anyway. And so then I'll be happy. I'll be like, hey, see you later, guys. We're all just meditating, Rainy, and peacing out. And then we're raising our vibration right out of here.
Right. Good.
All right. Well, that's a good note to end on. Let's. How about I tune us just for all this energy involved with everybody? Because even if you're not voting, or you are, or you're not paying attention, or you are, our biofields, our energies are picking up the mass consciousness energy, right, of the world, with all the war spots going on, as well as our nation. And so I just wanted to help bring some calm to people's minds and hearts and lives for a few hours. And I'm using a 222 hertz fork, and it's a being fork, it's called. The vibration is to help us just be good with being who we are, being children, or parts made of God, right? Made of universal spirit, all parts of the whole. Oops. Got too close to the speaker, I guess. sound of the third eye. And I'm going to tune our inner brain crystals to help us with our intuition and perceptions and abilities to tune into our spirit. O is for the solar plexus. La, la, this is the root. La, 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 sacral. Back to the heart. Crown. And I'm going to burn a smudge here. Get rid of negative energy. I make my smudges myself from what I grow in the garden. I use lavender and sage on the inside, which are pretty typical for smudge sticks. But I use passion flower leaves on the outside because passion flower has the energy of drawing us closer to the mindset of Christ. That's what the passion was for. The passion of Christ. His living for truth, right? And sharing that with others. And so I use that. I want that for my mindset. Or just let it get rid of any negative energies in all the homes of everyone watching. And as it burns, Rami, you want to lead us in meditation?
Yes. So, also, passion flower, is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's also used for nerve pain.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I use it for that too.
Yeah. All right. So I invite you to close your eyes. Take that big, deep belly breath. Inhale. Hold it at the top. And slowly let it go. And really feel your body. Just feel your body. Scan your body. Start at the top of the head. Work it all the way down, down, down. And if there's any tension or pain, send that body part love. Gratitude for our bodies. They take us everywhere. And then let's go down to the feet. And from the feet, I want you to imagine cords going down, down, down. All the way down into Mother Earth. You can anchor your cords into a rock or a boulder. And let's just pause here and feel the energy of Mother Earth. I want you to gather it up and bring it back up through the rocks, the mud, the soil, back into your feet, charging up your whole body. If you could see a color, imagine the color and see all of that energy going up your spine, back of the head, out through the crown. You are grounded. And then let's all go back inside our body to our heart space. And let's go to the center of the heart. And just recognize that right now, in this moment, The world is in chaos. And really, no matter what is going on, all we can do, if we do it, is just check in every day. Bring your awareness to your heart, to Mother, Father, God, the earth, the stars, the sun, and hold space for each and every one of us. We all matter. Whether we are blue, green, pink, Republican, or Democrat, know that you have value and you matter. And as long as you check in and hold space for yourself, the love that you have for yourself exudes out into your family, your community, the state, the United States, across the ocean, in the whole world. Peace, love is all ours to have. We just have to remind ourselves daily that we are part of this universe. We are part of love. We are love. And that is a wonderful, lovely feeling. Just always check in with your heart. Take a minute or two every day just to center yourself and do the right thing. All right. Thank you, Carla. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you, everybody. And open your eyes.
Thanks, Rami. That was nice. So, I'm just going to put my thank you, everyone. Thank you for liking and subscribing and for helping us grow. And I just want to I talked a lot. I didn't do this intentionally, but I talked a lot about the mindset of lack versus the mindset of abundance. And, share screen. Sorry, I was going to try it. I pulled up a picture here I was wanting to show. I don't know if I can. Window. Is what I want? There. Sorry, I can't even figure out how to do this. So, I was going to share a picture. I'm going to have to practice. Try to share a picture. I was just going to share like a little slide of the of my course, of our course, because you guys are helping me to flip your money magic. It's mainly all about changing from a mindset of lack to a mindset of abundance, and it starts November 1st. Although you can join even through mid-November and still get a lot out of it, all that you need to out of it for the quarterly. And it's a quarterly subscription unless you choose to join annually. And so that's flipyourmoneymagic.com, and I'll put that link down below in case anyone wants it. So, any closing thoughts for anyone?
I think after the election, about like mid-November, I think you'll have a surge of enrollees in our class. Yeah, I think people just don't know what to do with the election and don't know if they should spend money. They're just in limbo right now. So I think after it settles, I think it'll go. I hope it goes. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I hope so too. And if not, then it'll be good for the ones of us that are participating. So that'll be good too. So,
Yes.
okay. Jessica, you have any closing thoughts? No?
Everybody have a great week.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you, everybody. Talk to you later.